Welcome back. A new survey says parents play a frontline role in keeping young people away from drugs. 9 in 10 said it was conversations at home that made the difference. The survey by the National Council Against Drug Abuse was released today to mark International Recovery Day. And to discuss further, we have in studio today Dr. Jimmy Lee, who is Vice Chairman at NCADA. Jimmy, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, first, let's start a bit more with parents and families. They are often seen as the first line of defense when it comes to taking drugs, right? How strong a role can they realistically play when it comes to helping young people steer clear of drugs and, in recent cases, vaping?
Sure, thank you. So parents play an absolutely crucial role. They are the first line of defense. So if you think about it, we spend the most time with our children. Through our actions and our conversations, we forge a bond, we forge trust, and also we try to impart values through our narratives as well as our actions. Now with this, then it gives us the opportunity then to share the narratives about drugs and our perspectives towards drugs. And for these young persons, actually, when they do come home, they talk to you about things, and it's important for us to be curious, listen in, and pick up all the different cues and signs that our children has to say or tell us, and use these opportunities to share your own perspectives and narratives, as well as discuss about drugs. So having these kind of open conversations and dialogues actually really does help nudge and adjust actually our young person's narratives and attitudes, hopefully to keep them on a drug-free life.
And what you mentioned earlier that you found in your study, the 9 in 10 actually found it extremely helpful to have someone to talk to at home about this. Now, you recently conducted this study. What did it reveal about the different ways that parents and young people perceive the issue of drug use?
So this was actually quite interesting. When we polled the young person, so more than 9 in 10 actually did tell us that a conversation with their parent was a deterrent for them against drug use. Now, this actually highlights to us the impact, the power that actually parents can have in starting such conversations at home. So it is important for parents to take the opportunity with the child to actually start conversations, have open, non-judgmental kind of dialogues with our children, be open and ready to share your perspectives and take the courage. You know, it's never too late to have these conversations.
I wonder though, are parents or the youth themselves aware of this? Because, you know, I wonder if there's anything that surprised you about any gaps or similarities in the perspectives.
Yes, so in the survey that we did, the vast majority of Singaporeans are actually supportive of Singapore's anti-drug laws. Now, what was actually surprising was the gap. So between youth and adults, we found about 12% difference when it came to whether cannabis should be illegal. With youth basically having a much lower kind of support for the laws against cannabis. And in the focus group interviews with the youth, they came across as, they think that cannabis is a soft drug. This is something that they can control, they can regulate themselves, and maybe the harms are lesser. So they felt that maybe cannabis should not be illegal. This really highlights the intergenerational difference in attitudes towards drug between the adults as well as the young persons. And this is important for us to take note. We have to take the initiative to really bring the conversation back again to the youth, to really correct any misconceptions or actually any falsehood that they may have towards things like cannabis.
And also, based on the findings, what stood out to you most about the impact and influence that parents still have on their children?
So today's really is back to those conversations and the topic again that more than 9 in 10 youths who said that actually these conversations that they recall with their parents actually deterred them from drug use, and this is actually really quite heartening. And to this, we actually do think that parents should take the opportunity, start these conversations, and better late than never, as I said earlier. And these conversations do have an impact downstream in nudging the behaviors and helping your children actually develop a drug-free lifestyle.
Do you think parents actually overestimate or underestimate their perspective or their presence in the child's life?
Yeah, interesting point. So as a parent myself, so I think parents do underestimate. It is a difficult conversation to have, and as parents, we are not sure where to start. Where do I even have the requisite knowledge to even start these conversations? And what if I send the wrong message? I think a key thing to note here is that we don't expect parents, in fact, nobody will expect parents to have all the answers. But it is important then to how do we engage our young person towards fostering these dialogues. In fact, it could even be an opportunity For the parent and the child, maybe as a learning opportunity to discover, what is there actually that I do not know about, and maybe we can learn together. And to this, there are some online trusted resources that parents and child can go to and maybe, continue and further that dialogue and discussions.
How would you encourage parents to then begin this conversation? Let's say, for example, you have a child who you suspect might be using vapes, for example, and you don't really know how to approach it without, pushing your child away. What is a good way to have a conversation?
Yeah. Good point. So I will start with two main approaches. Number one is to be aware. Be aware of your child. Be curious and be aware of what your child is actually up to, the activities, the behaviors. Watch out for those early warning signs. And second, also to be aware of the emerging kind of risk to your child, right? Beyond academics, look at actually evolving landscape. So you mentioned vapes. So vapes and K-pods are one of those things that have rapidly kind of really evolved over the last 1 year to the present situation that we have today. So when you arm yourself with this information and knowledge, it also gives you opportunity to just drop a hint, start to live a conversation over maybe a meal or over just a casual chat. Sometimes a casual chat or conversation actually does help spur awareness among the child with the children. But if you further these conversations to dialogues, actually it helps then the young person develop a thinking, frame their critical thinking mindset to be able to evaluate actually the kind of misperception that they will face out there.
I think really it's about illuminating the why the child shouldn't do it, because sometimes when you are engaging in these harmful practices, you're not really thinking about the outcome of it or the long-term impact of it. So what you're saying is really it's quite important to outline that for the child. Maybe they're not aware.
Exactly. Yes, you're right.
Okay, so in this case, are family conversations only about prevention? Let's say for those who are in recovery, perhaps, or those who are struggling to kick the habit in some way, how can the parent play a part? Or do other figures also come in here?
Oh, wow. I think the parents and the family play an equally important role in prevention as well as in helping a person recover from addiction. Actually, the addiction, the recovery process in a person who's recovering from addiction is not an easy one. It is not a straight line recovery trajectory, and it's full of ups and downs. So having the support from the family, actually rebuilding that trust with the family because of the issues that has happened is especially important. And in that difficult journey towards recovery, knowing that my family is always there beside me as an anchor for me really does help and motivate me towards completing this difficult task towards recovery.
Sometimes just being there and being present with the child listening can also be
precisely,
a
yes,
really,
exactly.
really important contributing factor to recovery. Now, parents often say that these talks are very difficult. What do you notice are the biggest barriers when it comes to communicating openly and gaining the trust between parent and child?
Yeah, so to this, I think really the key point is knowledge. They feel ill-equipped. They are not sure how to proceed, how to even start such conversations. So I would say to parents that, be curious, keep yourself aware of these emerging trends. And also there's always sources that you can read up. There are websites from curated resources, even on NCADA's website they can go to and refer. There are also community partners where they can find this information from. And with this information, there are also certain toolkits that parents can use as starter questions, to start even broaching the topic with the child.
And apart from these toolkits as well, and in line also with them having resources and awareness on their own, are there other forms of support the parents can turn to?
Yes, for sure. So number one, of course, there are governmental agencies as well as community partners where they're more than willing to lend a helping hand. There are also parent support work groups that are actually queued into the system that they can actually reach to try to understand where they can go to for assistance and support.
All right. Thank you so much, Jimmy, for coming in today and shedding light on quite an important issue today. I've been chatting with Dr. Jimmy Lee, who is Vice Chairman of the National Council Against Drug Abuse.